May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, exactly.
May the 4th be with you, everybody. Star Wars Day!
Tomorrow is Star Wars Day too.
Revenge of the Sith. Hello, Jack. Hello, Jack.
Hey, Jack's with it. I thought we were going to be talking to nobody.
I know. My parents are hanging out with Katie and Adam. They're getting lunch together and everything. So, there's feedback. What kind of feedback? What kind of feedback is there, Jack? Echoey feedback?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what he means.
Well, only our mic is on, and I'm not sure. I'm not 60 hertz.
Oh.
I don't know what that means, Jack.
That means it's a hum. He's getting a hum.
He's getting a. Oh, you know what? It might be the computer. No, they gave it all the way down. It could just be the background of the computer coming in, and maybe we don't normally hear it. I don't know if that help anything at all. I don't know. I can't. Hold on. We're professionals, everybody. We're professionals. I'm gonna do a little listening to get into my audio mixer here.
Oh, look at you, like all professional.
Minimize is still there. All right.
So
it might just have
down.
to be. No, I want this one.
So the mic's picking up something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
I don't know what it sounds like.
It's like a high-pitched.
See, I wouldn't hear it anyway then.
Yeah. Oh. No. Okay, I did something. Stop it. Stop doing it.
On the power.
Oh my gosh.
Still there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's still there, and I don't know why it's doing it. You just can't have nice things. I've realized that it just doesn't matter. We just can't have nice things. Let me see here. Go into the audio settings. Yeah, okay. We don't need that should be muted. Let me actually.
Yeah. Did one of the dogs chew on the cord? No, but Indy may have.
Oh, well, no, I don't think so. Actually, wait, let me go back into settings. Here. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing, so.
Well, I was gonna say knock down the bit rate, but I bet if it's the cable, it's still gonna hum.
Yeah. It stopped there for a second, but
My
gain doesn't.
shredded a USB-C cord.
Well.
I mean, you want me to go get my cable?
No.
It stopped.
Yeah, it's.
Then the mic shut. Yeah, probably because we turned off the mic, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know if it's the mic.
Can we? Is it something that we can get through? Like, just is it a distraction? Because I can't hear it.
Yeah, you're gonna be really annoyed by it, cause I know it's like a.
I mean, I can pull my cable.
Well, I don't know if it's really the cable, or if it's just it could be the mic that's just run through its courses here, its paces, if you will. All right, he's getting his cable. Oh. Yeah, because your cable, Mike's cable management, he has everything like, I could get rid of it in post, most likely, or most of it in post. I have, Adobe Audition, so
manage cables. I have OCD with this stuff.
I know. Okay, we'll try this. All right, hang on a second. Yep, it's still there. Okay,
right,
so it's not the cable, and it's going to be something either with the microphone or it's something.
You want me to get my mic?
Else. But then we have to take it out of this thing, and that's gonna be annoying. That's gonna take forever. I guess he's getting his mic to see.
Are you mumbling?
Yeah, I'm mumbling.
About me.
It's interference from the Empire. No, we don't have a mixing board because it's just a USB mic, so we don't have a mixing board. It's not through XLR or anything.
What, though? I haven't thought about getting one.
I know, we do need to get, it'd be good to get, a mixing board and to get, XLR mics and...
Well, so far it's just jack, so...
Hey, okay. I'm not hearing it. So...
But can Jack hear us?
Well, we have audio on our, at least our audio thing is registering that there's audio. Yay!
No buzz.
Okay, so it's the mic.
All right, so we gotta get in a mic.
We got a bad mic. Just kidding. You're a good mic. Okay. Anyway, happy Star Wars Day. Woo!
May the Force be with you.
It was Empire interference, is what it was.
Yes.
It was listening. They're listening to our rebellion here. Anyway, all right, let's get the show started for our High in the Sky. Okay. I don't have Brandon to give me a count in. You want to give me a count in? I like a count in.
All right. In 5.
Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. It's not. I want to just have output.
Are we gonna watch Star Wars tonight? I think we have to.
We can watch Star Wars tonight. Just, I don't need my headphones on. Okay. All right. Give me a count. Let me flush my hair. Woo!
Okay, you look beautiful. You ready?
Thanks.
And look at the dress.
Yeah, it's my new dress I found at a thrift store in town. So it's my nerdy little rocket dress.
Vinny's is not bad.
No.
5, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. And we got a High in the Sky for May.
Who are you though? You didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, I'm Liz.
And I'm Mike.
And we're here without Brandon. Brandon, it's we're recording this obviously live on May the 4th, so he's got a big Star Wars thing going on that he's doing. With buddies and coworkers and stuff. So he's having a grand old time getting drunk to Star Wars right now. Well, we're here, and we're going to talk about what's up in the night sky for May, as well as some recent astronomy news.
Hey!
You know what I just realized? That we were supposed to introduce, our book club today, and we're all going to give a book idea and then decide between the three of us which one we wanted to read. And so Brandon's not here, so we can't do that. So now we're going to put it off another week.
Well, in 2 weeks. Well, okay. So, let's see what Brandon wants to
Okay,
read.
you text him and we'll discuss it maybe during the hangover or something. But for now, Mike and I are both drinking what we are calling the Rebel Scum.
Hey.
Which is not scummy, it's delightful, and I guess in this day and age, currently in this country and age, we would be considered
We
Rebel
are
Scum.
the Rebel Scum. Yes, we are. So I guess we should say what's in it.
Oh yes, what is in it? In fact, this is kind of a variation of a recipe of what a friend of the show and friend of us, Anna, sent us. And so you say what's in it, because I don't really.
Okay, can you say book recommendation today? All right, so it has, what does it have? It has bourbon in it. It has lemon juice. And this is where it kind of breaks down. This is where we were forced.
We didn't have the stuff.
All the stuff. So it calls for passion fruit syrup, which I don't have. So instead of that, what I used was peach. Peach syrup, and it gives a nice little delightful little flavor to it. And it has orgeat. And just to make sure that the almonds just are not underrepresented, we added amaretto to it.
And so it is, it's delightful and dangerous and delightful.
Oh, and what it is supposed to have instead of the amaretto is falernum. And I know I'm not saying it right, but falernum has kind of a melony kind of thing. Yeah. But it in the substitutes for it, because I had to look up substitutes, it said orgeat, so
which is already in there, so
that's why we went with the amaretto.
So one day we'll find the
and then we're gonna have to go to Eugene,
the whatever, and try the true recipe that was sent to us. But this is our little ode to Anna's recipe. It is very nice. It's very nice. Good. Jack made a homemade cold brew last night, so we blended cold brew with Nutella and Frappuccino powder on ice. Oh my god, that sounds so good. I do love Nutella. We never have Nutella, but I do. I know you're not a big Nutella fan. I like Nutella. I like a hazelnut.
All right, so this is what we need to do. We need to have Jack come out here. And
Jack says 50-50 pear and peach syrup with a small amount of white pepper is a good substitute for passion fruit.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. I think I had already had a drink at that point when we're like, oh, shit, it's passion fruit. And I was like, well, I'm not going to run. And we wouldn't have it anyway.
No way.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to have Jack out here and then Brandon come out. And we just make drinks. It's like a.
Just want all of Jack's drinks that he makes.
Drink fest.
Yeah.
Drink Fest 2025.
Yeah, that's healthy. We're healthy. Anyway, if you like us, if you think we're fun, if we, give you a hoot, follow us on all the things, at Drinking Cosmos, where you can find us on all the things, basically, and at Drinking Cosmos on the one that nobody uses anymore that we don't care, and they're a piece of shit run by. Anyway, check out our friends. Our friends do some cool stuff. Wildixia, Wildixia on Etsy's got some cool artwork. And then the real Mr. Proctor on YouTube. And of course, good buddy Jack, who makes awesome drinks and awesome everything, actually. Jack, who makes some really good stuff. The Rolling Bluffs Planetarium.com and in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So check out his cool planetarium if you're in the area. The Midwest.
Southwest corner.
Is it Midwest?
Iowa.
Is that the Midwest?
I mean, Iowa
still?
Looks like it's such a small state. I mean, we are in the western part, so everything's big out here. But,
He makes his own Nutella? Of course you do, Jack.
So, if you're in Iowa or in, I think it's on the border of, Nebraska, if you're just there. If you're in the middle of the U.S., go to
Look,
Jack.
I don't know geography at all. But also, if you have a short attention span, or maybe you're busy, you got a lot of things to do, you can't sit around for an hour plus listening to our shenanigans, then we got some short form content for you. Check out every other Wednesday. We have The Shot, little shots of astronomy science down your gullet. So you typically not more than 12 minutes, unless I'm giving it. Then it might be a little bit more than 12.
You average about 12.
Yeah.
It was
supposed to be no more than 10 minutes. So
yeah, and Liz was very it's got to be less than 10 minutes. Got to be less than 10 minutes.
And then it's just like every planetarium show I ever gave runs over because I just get so excited and talking about random shit. So we got one out now called about satellites. Oh no, Mars. Percy in the spacesuit is the last one that came out. Percy in the spacesuit. Yeah, so check that one out. That's a fun one. And of course, during the show here, we do have some rules, a little drinking game, if you will. If you hear any dogs barking, take a drink. It is Star Wars Day.
Should we suspend that.
Should we suspend? Well, we don't know how many Star Wars references we're going to make.
If we suspend it, we will not make a single one.
Yeah, so...
But if we have it in there, we're going to have 1,000
I don't know. We probably won't, because we'll end up forgetting about it. So, if we make any Star Wars references or Lord of the Rings references, then take a drink along with us. But for now...
Let's do it.
You ready to get high in the sky?
Yeah.
You get high in the sky?
Oh, you did it a little bit differently this time.
Let's get high in the sky, everybody.
All right, let's do it. What
are
we talking about today, Liz?
Well, we do like to feature a constellation for our high in the skies, and this featured constellation is Cancer.
Hey, it should be in July.
What?
Should be in July.
No, it shouldn't be in July. It's a springtime constellation.
It's my constellation.
Yeah, it is your constellation. You are a Cancer. It means nothing.
It means everything.
There was a time.
I have all the traits of a crab.
Of a crab, yeah. So Cancer, it is Latin for crab. I know it's like in this day and age. Why do we call Cancer Cancer? It's like if you get cancer, does that also mean you have crabs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Cancer the crab. It's kind of a faint constellation. It's in the northern hemisphere. Yes, Zodiac. Get out of here, Brandon. Get back to your Star Wars Day celebrations.
I said it means everything. I have all the traits of a Cancer.
What are the traits of a Cancer?
That
crabby.
Crabby. That
pinchy.
I do go sideways when I walk. And I'm pinchy.
You got pinchy? You can be pinchy.
But good looking.
Do you have little eyes that come up and you go, ooh?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
And that will rotate around.
The constellation, which, yes, is a zodiac constellation. It's a constellation the sun travels through because it falls on the plane of the solar system as we project it on the sky, called the ecliptic. It's not going to tell you your future. It's just a collection of stars. We made up a pattern about it, and people said shit about it. This one, though...
Check out our episode on astrology.
Yeah, my rantings. It's a faint constellation. It kind of looks like a letter Y or an upside down letter Y. You're not going to see it in a light polluted city, but away from city lights, then you might have a better shot. Like here, where we live, away from the city lights, you might have a better shot of seeing it. The brightest star is called either Altarf, Tarf, or Beta Cancri.
Sounds like somebody throwing up.
I know, Tarf. Altarf. It is 290 light years away, and it is binary system.
Hey.
No surprise, most stars are binary systems or multiple star systems in the universe. And it's a binary system of an orange giant. So this is a star that is it's nearing the end of its life. It is off the main sequence, as it were. So it's no longer converting hydrogen into helium. It's moved on to other elements. Its inner insides getting more oniony as time goes on. And it's...
Do you want to explain what the oniony is?
Oh, yeah, like the layers of its making of so hydrogen and helium, then it runs out of hydrogen, and so then helium, it gets hot enough, and so then helium makes oxygen, and then eventually runs out of that, oxygen makes carbon. It's got layers of these elements that it's made
different things that are being made.
Yeah. Check out our episode. I'm sure we've done one on stellar evolution because I love it. But this is not a stellar evolution episode. So in a nutshell, it's heading out, It's getting bigger. Mm-hmm. It's getting wider.
And guys, that mean I'm heading out?
Well, we're all going to head out one of these days.
I'm getting wider.
Okay, its companion is a red dwarf. And they orbit each other in a 76,000-year orbit.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So they're not near each other necessarily. They orbit each other, but they're not like...
That's crazy. That
they're not very close.
The number of observations you have to take, because we only had telescopes, being able to look at this thing for a short amount of time.
Yeah, not very long.
Even every year, I was like, let's say 300 years after you start looking at it, you're like, oh shit, it's starting to make a turn.
Yeah.
Hey, it could be going around this. So.
I know. We thought waiting for fucking Neptune or Pluto to orbit and make any leeway in the sky took a long time, but no, these guys have a long orbit. Now, also in Cancer, there's some other deep space objects like M44, the Beehive cluster. You can't go there. You're allergic.
I'm allergic.
I was allergic. So, it is one of the closest open clusters to Earth. So, basically, these stars, they all form together out of the same cloud and dust, but they're not tightly bound. They're floating. They're moving away from each other, essentially. Another example that maybe you're more familiar with would be the Pleiades star cluster, also called Subaru. And so it is 590 light years away from Earth, so one of the closest. It contains thousands of stars. In fact, it is it's fairly bright. It kind of looks like a cloudy smudge in the sky if you have really dark skies like the ancient Greeks had, where they had no street lights or electricity at all. And so Ptolemy, he actually observed it, and he noticed it as like this nebulous mass in the breast of Cancer. So I'm like, that can't be good on a modern MRI.
No. Or the little breast exams.
Mammogram.
Oh, but I think I've read, and I don't know because I haven't looked at it really through a telescope.
Yeah, me neither.
When you look at it through a telescope, it looks like a beehive with all the stars. And,
I don't know.
Yeah, and so
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. But it's also one of the first objects that Galileo studied with his telescope, as well, aside from the planets that he looked at. So
and he wrote shit down.
The Beehive cluster will come back around in a minute, so stay tuned. Other deep space objects in Cancer, one, and this I thought was kind of cool. It's called OJ287. It is a BL Lacertae object, which is basically a galaxy with an active galactic nucleus, aka a very hungry black hole. Hungry black hole. Just munching away in the core of that galaxy. It is one of the most massive, supermassive black holes. Its mass is 8 billion solar masses.
But
I'm sorry, I said 8 billion. 18 billion solar masses. It is 6 times more massive than the next largest object.
Wow.
It's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
His big boy's got to eat a lot.
He's got to eat a lot.
He's a hungry black hole.
Yep.
Also in Cancer, it has 10 stars with known planets.
Cool.
Extrasolar planets. One of those is 55 Cancri. It is a super Earth. This star has a super Earth in orbit along with 4 gas giants. And that super Earth is within the habitable zone of the star system. In fact, it's one of, you can get these like fun travel posters that JPL made for extrasolar planets. We have them on our wall, and 55 Cancri is one of those. So
in a room right over there, not behind me. That's the.
We are missing one of them. I can't remember which one we were missing, but we are missing one of them. Anyway, so with most of the constellations in the northern hemisphere, I'm not gonna. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not gonna spell it because I'm known for spilling my drinks. There's some mythology that go along with them. You know what? I wasn't finding too much mythology for Cancer. It was first recorded by Ptolemy in his Almagest in the 2nd century CE, using the Greek name Kirkonos. Dante mentions Cancer in his Paradiso. And that's because at the time it was visible like in northern hemisphere winter, and so the line in the poem from Dante goes, "Then a light among them brightened, so that if Cancer one such crystal had, winter would have a month of only a day." What does that mean? I don't know. I don't get poetry. Poetry goes way over my fucking head. But hey, it was mentioned by Dante. Cancer...
Supernova?
I don't know. I didn't mention it. Just saying when it was, I don't know. Cancer was behind the sun during the summer solstice in ancient times. So that's when the sun is at its most northerly in the sky. And so the northernmost parallel on Earth, where the sun is overhead, is still called the Tropic of Cancer. However, Taurus now claims that fame, claims that spot due to precession of the axis, the wobble that the Earth makes as it rotates. Now, there is a little bit of myth behind Cancer. So the Greeks, they basically said it was a crab that Hercules kills. He's fighting the Hydra, and this crab comes over and fucking pinches his leg, and he's like, what the fuck? And he just stabs it. Mm-hmm. Now, Hera, Hera, wife of Zeus, not the most pleasant lady, I would assume, but to be fair, her husband is Zeus, so she's got a lot to be angry about. She doesn't like Hercules, obviously, Hercules being a child out of wedlock for Zeus, one of his many bastard demi-humans. She doesn't like Hercules, and so she honors Cancer, the crab, for trying to hurt Hercules by putting him in the stars. Hey. So that's how the crab got up there. But Cancer has actually been represented as many creatures to different cultures, although it's somehow always generally like a water creature with an exoskeleton. So it's like telephone, I guess, I mean, we're so interconnected as a species that it's like things start blending together and people steal from other cultures and et cetera, et cetera. In ancient Egypt, it was known as a scarab, which is
not a water creature.
I guess it's not. Well, I don't know.
It's like
a beetle,
thing, right?
But they can go in water, maybe. I don't know. It's got an exoskeleton.
I just remember the Mummy with Brandon Fraser
and all the scarabs. Yeah. In Babylon, it was Mul-Alul, which is a crab or snapping turtle. Hold on, I got a hair in my mouth. All right, that's fun. 12th century manuscripts depict it as a water beetle.
Okay.
Or it's also been noted as a crayfish or a lobster, except for in China. In China, it is just part of the vermilion bird of the south.
Hey.
China does their own shit. All right.
They do.
But it's had many names in these different cultures. Carcanos, Carcinus, Litorius in ancient Rome, which means shore inhabiting. Karka/Karkata in Sanskrit, and like more.
Cool.
Yeah, for being a pretty dim constellation, it seems to have been fairly
But it's my
popular.
constellation.
You are a Cancer.
That's gonna be my next tattoo, and I'll put it right here.
Just
Put a big crab up there, and people will be like,
"Where's
his
eyes? Where's his eyes going to be? Like coming forward down?"
Yeah, exactly, just right over my eyes.
And
then people are like, "What is that on your head?" I'm like, "Cancer," and they're gonna be like, "What the? God, you're a sick man." That's what they're gonna be.
All right, now the sky is filled with many wonders, right? So in the month of May, there's more to see than crabs. So let's talk about some planets. Mars will be up early in early May. We'll be hanging out with Cancer.
Hey.
And then it will move into Leo the Lion, which is another springtime constellation. As we head in, we're deep into spring. We're getting closer to summer. So springtime.
We're about halfway through spring, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean we just started May.
God dang.
I don't know. How does
time
check out our episode on time for how that works.
That's got to be a different rule.
But Mars should be up all night long through the month of May. Venus and Saturn, they're going to be rising in the wee hours of the pre-dawn sky, but they may be kind of tricky to spot if you got a lot on your horizon, but there will be better visibility for them as the month goes on. They'll get higher later in the evening. And our good buddy
Joopy Joops.
Joops, he's going to be entering the daytime sky midsummer. So now is kind of like going to be our kind of the last chances to see Jupiter in the evening.
So
it's on its way out. Yeah, it's on its way out. It is, it's going to be early May. It's hanging out with Taurus right now. Taurus being a wintertime constellation. So Taurus is setting earlier in the evening. So Jupiter is going to be setting earlier and earlier as we head more into summer. So it's been visible for a good, the past few months, several months at least. Jupiter's been up at night. It's been a really a great thing to spot. So check it out now before it enters the daytime sky in a little bit. So it'll be setting in the west earlier and earlier. We do have some celestial events. Mars isn't...
Hurry up with his first one, though.
May isn't... oh, yeah, I know. We're doing this a little bit late. So, we already had May 1st. Has already happened. What day is today? Today's May 4th, right? So, May 1st through 6th, Mars is passing through the Beehive Cluster!
Hey,
or is it buzzing through?
Oh, it's buzzing.
It's buzzing through the Beehive Cluster. So, if you have a telescope, something to check out.
And you listen to this today or tomorrow. Go check it out.
Which this episode won't go up until Saturday, so tough luck. Check us out live then. On May 12th, it is the full moon of May, and this moon is known as the flower moon because, you got all the flowers and shit.
April showers bring
May flowers.
Exactly.
And this flower moon originates from the Algonquin tribe in Ontario. But there's there's like different names for this moon, but flower moon is like the most popular. There's like budding moon. It all has to do with like flowers. Basically coming up and sprouting.
That was nicely pronounced, by the way.
Algonquin?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. Algonquin.
Meteor shower watch 2025. There's one meteor shower in May. It will peak on today, May 4th. And it's no comet, but it's the debris from a comet.
That's not how you have it listed.
Oh shit. Oh no! Hold on. I messed up. I pressed the wrong button. I wanted to press this button, the drink button, because
in the notes there is a little bit of a reference.
It says that's no comment.
Yeah, but you didn't say that.
Okay, well these are just, I say it how I'm gonna say it. These are just bullet points.
No, I know, but I was ready to take a drink because it was going to be a Star Wars reference, and you didn't Star Wars reference.
Well, I did. I said that's no comet. It's the tail. It's the debris from Halley's Comet.
Okay.
I did say it.
All right, I missed some of those words.
It's fine. It's called the Eta Aquarids. It's not a bright meteor shower. It's about 10 per hour. But, hey, if you're with us live today, if you got clear skies tonight, Jack, go outside and maybe you can see a couple. I don't know. But this is the peak. The meteor showers, they do go on for like a week, a couple weeks at a time. I didn't put the range down for the Eta Aquarids, how long it's going, but this is just when there's the most, the peak of it. So there's the most you can see per hour. All right. That's kind of all for the night sky in May. It's not a very, not a lot of shit's happening, which is fine, because there's still plenty to gaze at and wonder at and just enjoy up there.
My boy Cancer.
Your boy Cancer.
My boy Cancer.
We should try to see if we can spot Cancer the crab. I don't know if we have clear skies now.
We got clear skies
Maybe tonight we can try and see if we can spot it. We'll be in bed. It's a work day tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see if we can spot it at some point.
The sun never sets here in Oregon.
Oh my God, daylight savings. I don't like it when...
Can we not have it?
It's light at night. I like my nights to be... Night. I like it getting darker earlier, even though we don't stay up late like I used to stay up late,
I like to be able to go out, look up and say, hey, look, I can see stars.
Yeah. When I go to bed, I want to be able to see some stars, or at least it not be bright out. That's what I like. All right. Astronomy news. There was a lot of fun news that I found. In fact, even today, this morning, I was adding extra stuff that I found because I thought it was fun. So,
yeah.
Let's get cracking to it.
Beep,
beep, beep. Astronomy news 2025 for May 2020. That was bad. I can't. I need to practice it more. I'm going to be like really in the moment. Okay. First bit of evidence. Okay, this is something that's been floating around for a bit. People have been looking for something like this. Okay, evidence of the controversial Planet 9 uncovered in sky surveys taken 23 years apart. Now, we're not talking about Pluto. Pluto's not a planet. It's not the 9th planet anymore. All right, it's a dwarf planet. Get over it. All right, but there has been a hypothesis that there is another planet. Now, they thought maybe about the size of, like, bigger than Earth, but...
Yeah, it's like Neptune size.
Hold on. They didn't know that yet. okay, that was maybe around the size of the Earth or a little bit bigger than the Earth, that was hanging out way deep in the solar system, like way out there. Because what astronomers have noticed is that some of the dwarf planets in the Kuiper Belt, or these Kuiper Belt objects, like they're not necessarily like in their orbits where they would expect them to be, as if there is some kind of drag that's happening, some kind of pull from something. In fact, this is how Neptune was discovered, because Uranus was not quite where it was supposed to be, implying there was some gravitational pull that was causing some drag for it. So people did some math, and then they did the math, and they're like, it should be right here. And then they took a telescope, and they were like, oh, shit.
They did it in a night.
There's something right there.
They found it in a night.
So that's what they think is happening. There's another planet out there, a large body that is able to have enough gravity to cause a little bit of drag on these Kuiper Belt objects. Not a lot, but just something.
But there's also some objects that their orbits can only be explained.
Yes, they have like some...
They have different orbit than what is expected.
Yes. And so the proposed object is supposed to be larger than Earth, with like this crazy eccentric orbit that takes it like super far out. But it's been really hard to spot. Right? We need to have like good technology, good telescopes in order to spot it. So what astronomers actually looked at were these two deep infrared surveys that were taken 23 years apart to show a possible candidate for this mysterious Planet 9. This team was led by astronomer Terry Longfan of the National Tsinghua University in Taiwan, and he delved into the archives of these two far-infrared all-sky surveys. The infrared astronomy satellite IRIS was launched in 1983, and it surveyed the universe for almost a year before it was decommissioned. And then in 2006, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, so the JAXA, they launched Akari, which is another infrared astronomy satellite that was active between 2006 and 2011.
Okay.
So these are the two sky surveys that were studied, and the amount of movement that they're expecting to be in the sky would be like really tiny, like really minuscule, like apparently about 3 arc minutes per year at a distance of approximately 700 astronomical units, okay? Our Earth is 93 million miles from the sun, and that is 1 astronomical unit. So 793 million miles, basically. 1 arc minute is 1/60th of an angular degree. I don't know what that means. Whatever. Numbers of math. It goes over my head, but that's what they're operating off of. Now, they also had to count for something called parallax. Now, you may not be familiar with parallax, or you may not think you're familiar with parallax. However, I would bet that everybody as a kid has held their finger up in front of their face and then moved and then switched off which eye they were looking through. And their finger, although not physically moving, looks to be moving. And that is parallax.
Yeah, you can actually tell that your dominant eye with this as well.
Why?
So,
because there's less movement?
The one that moves less or doesn't move at all in some cases.
Oh, so my left eye is my dominant eye. I'm left-handed, so I guess that
my
goes...
right eye is.
I wonder if your...
Does
your hand...
This is 2 data points. Does
the hand, your dominant hand mean your dominant...
data points.
Okay, all right.
It is 2 data points.
So that's parallax.
It is not a scientific
If you look at something at a different angle, there's like it's not in the same spot, basically. Not that it's moving, right? But it just looks like it's in a different spot. So they had to account for this this parallax, and they ended up finding one tiny dot. Ooh, Jack says parallax is one of his students' favorite lab. He sets up fake stars for them to measure. That's really fun. I like that. Oh, Jack, you're like the funnest teacher. Anyway, so they ended up finding one tiny dot, and it appears in one position on the IRIS 1983 image, but it was not in that position when Akari looked However, there is an object that was seen by Akari in a position 47.4 arc minutes away that isn't there in the IRAS imagery, and it is within range that Planet 9 could have been like traveling in that 23 years. So they need more up-to-date observations of that area with a large field of view to account for movement since 2006, because some time has passed. Check out again our episode on time.
Almost 23 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 19 at this point. But.
Now, based on the brightness of this object, it could actually be larger than Neptune, and that was a surprise. They weren't thinking that it was going to be that large.
You see, I thought that they had...
Well,
a few years ago, they were like, gotta be.
The implication in this article was that, or maybe they didn't know for sure, but based on the brightness, now they're pretty, I guess, more sure that it's larger than Neptune. And they don't really know, like, what it is. Like, what the fuck is this thing? Like, is it a rogue planet? Or is it a gas giant that formed in our solar system closer in and then migrated outwards? Which
does happen.
We end up seeing in a lot of the extrasolar planetary systems that we find. And our gas giants are actually kind of the odd ones out.
Well, no, they think like Jupiter was actually closer, and they've all kind of like moved out and moved positions and things like that. And
so Planet 9 is still a mystery. It's still a hypothetical, but they're getting closer to seeing.
Let's get Webb involved.
Something. Yeah, you know.
Let's bring out Webb. Let's see what Webb thinks.
Let's Webb it. Okay. The next article, which I thought was kind of fun, this is from nature.com, or at least, well, it's been in very different sources, but I pulled it from nature.com. Actually, I pulled it for a couple different ones, but nature.com is the one I mainly reference. A nearby dark molecular cloud in the local bubble is revealed in H2 fluorescence. Basically, astronomers found... in our local bubble, check out our episode on Structure Out of Chaos.
The last one?
The last full episode we did. But there is a invisible, giant molecular cloud. So this the cloud of like molecular hydrogen that glows in the dark. That we can't see it. We can't see it with our eyeballs, but it's there. And they found it by looking at a specific wavelength of light. So, now it's been long thought that there are a lot of dark molecular clouds that we can't see. And this dark molecular cloud is named Eos for the Greek goddess of the dawn. It is 94 parsecs from the sun, or 300 light years.
Okay.
It is 100 light years wide. And if we could see it in our night sky, it would look like, it would basically be, I lost my spot, 40 Earth moons lined up side by side. It's the closest known from Earth. In fact, here is a artist's depiction of what the molecular cloud would look like in our sky if we could see it. Which, it's a bummer that we can't see it. How many things in our sky could we see that we can't see?
Ask Cat, because they can see everything. All right, take a drink.
I forgot to turn the button off when we last used it. So it's basically like this crescent-shaped blob. It's in the H2 far ultraviolet fluorescent line emission. It's the first time that this wavelength was kind of looked at. So it basically glows in the dark. Now, it's not going to be around forever. All right, there's a lot of radiation in space. All right.
There's a lot of radiation.
Breaking up all these particles and dispersing them, it's going to evaporate in approximately 5.7 million years.
Oh, so again, we're at the perfect time.
We're at the perfect time
to witness it.
The perfect time to witness it.
You cannot read anything into that statement, though.
No.
Because
it's
5 billion years from now, there'll be another perfect time to see something.
Yeah. Now, why does this matter? What's the importance of this fucking gaseous blob in our sky? Well, okay, molecular hydrogen is the most abundant substance in the universe, So by like discovering and studying these hydrogen-filled clouds, astronomers can uncover like previously undetected hydrogen reservoirs, and they can more precisely gauge the amount of material available for star and planet formation.
Okay.
So it leads into this larger, like, how do stars
better
and planets
understanding
form?
of the universe.
Yes.
So call your representatives and tell them to fund NASA.
Oh, God. Well, I didn't even put that shit in this episode.
No,
but
so we need to make those comments.
Yeah.
Check out our shot on
funding
your representatives.
NASA, because it's real now. Okay, but, there's a lot of unseen shit, a lot of mysterious shit.
There's a lot of unseen shit out
in the universe. So our next article from universetoday.com, astronomers observe a dark matter bridge in the Perseus cluster. Now the Perseus cluster is a cluster of galaxies.
Is it a toll bridge? Is it like a suspension bridge?
I don't know. You might have to pay on it if you go on it. I don't know.
Is it like the Golden Gate Bridge?
It is a bridge of dark matter. So we don't really know what kind of bridge it is because we don't know what dark matter is.
Yeah, true.
So galaxy clusters are some of the largest structures in the universe. Again, check out our episode on Structure from Chaos.
Just check out all our episodes.
Now, in this one, the Perseus cluster is the hero of this tale.
Okay.
Like how I did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the product, what they think happened is that the Perseus cluster being the product of past mergers, and then it settled into this kind of like stable state. But no. There was a disruption in the force.
Oh boy.
Okay. Subaru telescope in Hawaii, not the star cluster, but the actual telescope named after
Island.
In
Mauna Kea.
A South Korean team, they discovered this sort of dark matter bridge connecting Perseus to a subcluster of galaxies.
Is it in Andromeda?
No.
Because they're connected.
No, he's on his way to save her right now. That's what's going on. So this other cluster of galaxies that seems to be like not associated, but is actually associated with the Perseus cluster. And it turns out that at some point there was a major merger of galaxies.
Okay.
And what they found was this clump of dark matter that was 1.4 million light years from the main Perseus cluster's core. And this clump of dark matter is 200 trillion times the mass of the sun.
Okay. So that's
a
lot. A lot.
It's a clump. And it connects the core of the Perseus cluster to the subcluster. So they're connected through this bridge. And it's the first direct evidence of past gravitational interaction between Perseus and a neighboring group of galaxies.
Wow.
So this is the first it's seen. And I do have a image of it. Here's the image of it if you're watching the video of this. So the missing companion galaxies is on the right, and the main Perseus core cluster, and then you have this sort of bridge that is in between them.
Looks like a fish.
I guess it does. Yeah, it does look like a fish, depending on how you look at it. What else could it look like? Maybe like, it also kind of looks like an arrow, or... I don't know, we just like making up shit, what shit looks like.
Just for like perspective though, you say 200 trillion times the mass of the sun. Mm-hmm. The Milky Way galaxy, let's just say, has about 200 billion times the mass of the sun, or 200 billion stars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, never mind.
Roughly.
Never mind. That's not going to work.
Okay.
So it's probably about 1,000 times the mass of the Milky Way. Maybe.
That's a lot.
Roughly.
It's a lot.
Yeah, 10 to 1,000.
And we don't even know what dark matter is yet.
No.
Will we ever? We may never know. Not the rate the funding's going. Next article from physicsworld.com. An exoplanet could be in a perpendicular orbit around 2 brown dwarfs.
So what's the physics of that?
Right? Crazy. So this is based on observations from ESO's Very Large Telescope, or VLT.
We're not creative with names.
Hey guys, what do you want to call this telescope?
Well, it's big.
It's kind of big. I don't know. I mean, there's big one, but it's very large. Very Large Telescope. All right.
And you know what? Yeah, and I had a BLT for lunch.
Yeah, VLT.
So we'll say VLT.
Yeah, just don't need this one. So researchers led by Tom Baycroft, a PhD student at the University of Birmingham, he suggests that such an exoplanet is required to explain the changing orientation in the orbit of this pair of brown dwarfs. Now, brown dwarf, just a
failed star.
It's basically a star that, it's like it like didn't get quite enough mass to start nuclear fusion. You know, if Jupiter was 80 times more mass, it would have become a star. Good thing it didn't, but it didn't. It's not a brown dwarf because it didn't get close to failing. But I'm just saying, like, if you're like close to reaching nuclear fusion, but you just can't get there. You're just right there, but you don't. But you have enough. You're glowing because you're still like radiating heat. You're just not doing fusion. You're a brown dwarf.
Yeah.
You're failed star. You failed. You failed at stars. At being a star. No.
But you'll live longer than a lot of stars.
Yeah. So they were actually just studying the orbit of these brown dwarfs. That's what they were doing, is studying these brown dwarfs. Because to have two brown dwarfs in orbit together, that's not necessarily a common thing, I think.
Right.
And they realized that, like, the brown dwarfs had, like, this weird changing orientation that was happening to them. And so that they theorized that a polar orbiting planet exists in the system. Now, this is the first. There's been hypotheses that planets could orbit in a polar orbit. So not along the equator like we orbit around our sun, but along the poles. And so,
which is interesting physics.
Yeah, you like it.
I do like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there's new physics.
So this binary pair of brown dwarfs is about 120 light years away. It's called 2M1510. So that's fun. They're 45 million years old, and they have masses about 18 times that of Jupiter's.
Okay.
And they are eclipsing, so that means they periodically pass in front of each other from our line of sight. And they were just trying to learn about these two dudes. They're just like, hey, we want to study these brown dwarfs. But then something weird was going on. Their orbits were a little weird. So studying the Doppler shifts in light, Doppler shift, not just for sound.
Nope.
But for light as well.
Anything with waves.
The light they emitted revealed that their elliptical orbit was slowly changing orientation in and this is a word I do not know, in an apsidal precession. Apsidal. I don't know that word, and I didn't
look it up.
Look it up. Now, this isn't something that's too weird. Apparently, Mercury undergoes apsidal precession, and that's why for Mercury's orbit, you have to use Einstein instead of Newton. General theory of relativity instead of like Newton shit. But this is way different for a pair of brown dwarves, and so.
How far its most distant point from each other is rotating around. It's processing around.
Okay. I like that's like a sprinkler.
It makes that noise.
It does that. That's how the noise it makes. So the best explanation for this is that there is a companion to the binary on a polar orbit that's inclined close to 90 degrees relative the binary. And the mass of this object could be anywhere between 10 to 100 Earths. And this is an artist's impression of what it looked like. So you have the two brown dwarfs, and then you have the planet going in this polar orbit around it.
I saw that.
You saw that, yeah.
Somewhere.
Now, if they just like moved the polar orbit like down a little bit, or up a little bit, I'm just gonna let everybody, if they're seeing the visual, think about that.
Down and it's a dangle down.
And then up is a dangle up. Anyway, with ourselves. So that's kind of cool.
Susanna's not watching this.
So I thought that was really interesting. I mean, look, most of the shit goes over my head anyway. But I just find it really like fun that we're in a time where it's like we have this base technology to kind of like they don't know that that's happening. That's not confirmed yet. That is just the best explanation for what's going on with these two brown dwarfs and why their orbits are a little bit funky, and changing like they are. And so that one thing is like, hey, now we can use other telescopes and do other research to actually find this planet that could possibly be there. And it will be the first, I think, extrasolar planet, or first planet in a polar orbit like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's any other planet that's been found that's in a polar orbit, but it's hypothesized that it does exist. And this
are there any exoplanets just around brown dwarfs? Gotta look that up.
I don't know. And name one. Jack says stellar ED. Name one star Viagra and the other is Cialis. This is just sitting in bathtubs.
That's great.
All right. Next bit of news. Also to do with forming planetary systems, possibly, or stellar systems. Protoplanetary disks captured by ExoAlma astronomers in extraordinary detail from IFL Science. I fucking love science.com. Mm-hmm. So the ExoAlma project, this is using the ALMA telescope in Chile. So it's an exoplanet. ExoAlma. So they're looking for exoplanets. They're looking for basically planetary formation. They're studying these protoplanetary disks. So our sun, it formed from a big cloud of gas and dust, and our planets formed out of this disk of material in orbit around the sun. All those particles came together and formed what we know of as the planets today. When the sun turned on, basically, the solar wind kicked on, swept out the excess debris, and we're left with the solar system we know and love today. For the most part. I love it. For the most part. Yeah. I mean, there's some turbulent times, and we're in one of those. But anyway, so using the Atacama Large Millimeter / Sub-Millimeter Array, ALMA, telescope in Chile, they're refining their methods to search for and image these protoplanetary disks.
I love how it's like large millimeter, but we're also going to do sub-millimeter. We don't quite know, so we're going to give a range. We're going to do both.
You got to have your options open. It's like, when we go traveling, you gotta have fountain in case you fall in a fountain close.
Fountain close.
You got to have your bases covered. So they're basically studying these protoplanetary disks that are forming around the host stars, and they're looking for the effect that the planets have on the surrounding environments. According to Christophe Pinte, an astrophysicist at the Institute of Astrophysics and Planetology of Grenoble at Monash University and co-PI of the ExoAlma team.
That's a hell of a business card.
I know, right? He says, it's like trying to spot a fish by looking for ripples in a pond, rather than trying to see the fish itself. Okay. So they're trying to observe this planet formation through through all this dust and gas that's there. And so what they were able to find is very minor disturbances in protoplanetary structures, likely caused by young planets that are emerging from the debris that's there from all that,
so you've seen the planets be born.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
And from this study, there's been a total of 17 papers published about this. And of course, and I did pictures this episode, so here's a picture of some of those accretion disks. So these are all planets are forming within these disks of gas and dust here.
Wow. Except for that one where it just looks like there's just a hole.
Yeah, there was some weird one where there was some it had different wavelengths, and I didn't bring it up because I was like, I don't know how to talk
some
about
of them
this,
look like little pictures of protozoa under a microscope.
You know what? It's actually it's actually really funny how if you look at kind of the microscopic world on Earth or deep sea stuff, you see similar patterns and similar structures in the macro of the universe.
Right.
It's very interesting how there is that connection that is there. Jack says blueberry pancakes. Yeah! Blueberry pancakes. So these are just, these are going to have planets probably one day. They're forming.
I really wish, that, we were Q. And that we, could live forever. And then, so we see how it is now. And then go to this place 500 million years from now and see what forms out of it. It sucks seeing the snapshot. Now you don't. It's like taking a snapshot of a baby, but you never get to see the baby grow up. That sounds
the
really.
baby exists.
Yeah, it sounds like really bad, like because we die in the situation or whatever. But but we never get to see it grow up, so we never get to see. Yeah. All we can do is just think about.
Yeah.
What's the solar system?
What's it going to be like?
How many planets is it going to have? Is there going to be light that shows up?
But it's. I mean, but it's amazing that our technology has advanced to the point where it's at, where we can see these protoplanetary disks. Whereas, like, I mean, you can look at. I mean, there's the Pillars of Creation image or the Orion Nebula, and we can see these like eggs, these basically pockets of dark gas and dust where we know that there's stars forming inside them. But now we can also see, depending on what we're looking at, we can actually see the disk of material that planets are going to form from out of those, which is just so fucking cool.
I know. Yeah.
It's so cool.
I wish everybody in the world saw the excitement like that we have. I wish they could see science the way that we see science.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do, but then there are a lot of people who don't.
It's hard. It's a hard thing because it doesn't relate. It's not, it's like, oh, I got shit to do. I got bills to pay. I got
right.
Like it's not like
But everybody can go out and be amazed by the night sky, and be amazed by the universe.
Like there's a bigger picture out there, people. There's a bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean, I like playing video games, and I like doing certain things as well. But
this is also why I'm like, why do we have to like be such assholes to each other? Like, there's a bigger picture. Like we're all just specks of dust in this big, large fucking.
What is it? I don't know who said it, but we are. To paraphrase it, we are a way for the universe to know itself. Is that a Sagan thing?
I don't know.
But
I've heard that before.
And I'm paraphrasing it, but oh my god, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, are we done being extra nerdy and giggly about it?
No.
Well, I got some bad news though. I'll follow it up with better news, but I got bad news.
Sandwich this shit.
All right, we're sandwiching. Jack says Sagan.
Sagan.
Right. Of course it was Sagan. All hail Sagan. Psyche, the Psyche spacecraft. This is a spacecraft that's actually an ASU project. Alma mater, represent. Not just a party school, does cool space shit as well.
Oh shit, you guys do space?
Yeah. The Psyche spacecraft, it's heading to an asteroid called 16 Psyche, which is why it's called the Psyche. Which is an asteroid that has an unusually high metal content. So they're sending a spacecraft there to study it. But recently, its thrusters suffered a glitch on the way. So there was a little glitch that's happening.
Just give me the bad news.
Space is hard.
Give me the bad news.
Currently, Psyche, the spacecraft, is 150 million miles away. So it's
pretty far.
It's a bit far. And what happened was there was a decrease in fuel pressure within its solar electric propulsion setup, and so they've had to turn its thrusters off while they figure out a way to fix it, a resolution for this.
Gonna miss it?
However, they're okay to keep the thrusters off until mid-June, until the trajectory is affected.
You got a month and a half, folks.
They got until mid-June, and then the trajectory is going to be a little bit of iffy. So the propulsion system that Psyche uses is an electric propulsion system that has two identical fuel lines. So they may decide to switch to the backup fuel line to resume thrusting. Redundancies are important when you're exploring space. This is actually the first time that this type of propulsion system has been used on a probe beyond lunar orbit.
Okay.
So basically what it does is sunlight collects with Psyche's large solar arrays that gets converted into electricity, which then powers the spacecraft's four thrusters. And once powered up with enough sunlight energy, then the thrusters, which are called Hall thrusters, use electromagnetic fields to expel charged atoms of xenon gas that are stored in tanks aboard the spacecraft. So it glows like neon blue.
Oh shit! Really?
And so that xenon expulsion creates like a gentle thrust to move the spacecraft, and apparently it's like really gentle. Like it's apparently the thrust is like if you were holding like a handful of quarters.
Oh, but over time
that generates enough momentum to go, because space, guess what? No air drag, so you don't need a lot of thrust to, move somewhere. And it can actually accelerate up to speeds of 124. It's going to accelerate up to speeds up to 124,000 miles per hour relative to the Earth.
That's a lot of thrust over a long time.
A lot of thrust. Now, if it was to, hey, Ron! If it was to carry traditional chemical propulsion that most...
I thought you were waving to somebody outside of our window. It was just such a, hey, Ron!
No, that would be funny. What if Ron appeared outside the window?
There was a Ron in our neighborhood.
There is a Ron, not a cool Ron like Ron Proctor. So normal spacecrafts that go beyond the moon, like New Horizons. New Horizons, it has plutonium. Plutonium, which is funny because it went to Pluto. Anyway, if it had traditional,
you think he chose it that way?
I think it was a coincidence because plutonium. But anyway, traditional chemical propulsion would have required Psyche to be packed with 15 times more fuel, which means weight and heft, and that makes it harder to get where you want to go.
Exactly.
In space, and also costs more. The more fuel you have to pack on. So let's hope that they find a resolution for this, and that everything works as expected. So Godspeed, Psyche.
Godspeed.
Maybe it's going to turn around and be like, psych. I just want to throw in like a psych joke in there. I just really wanted to. Even though it was bad.
That would be great. That would be great if it sent back.
Psych, I'm fine.
April
Fools.
If I were like a software engineer, I would just unbeknownst to everybody else,
code in
so send it and have it respond. Psych, and then it shows everything's good to go. Yeah. Oh god, that'd be great. That would be Scientist of the Year right there.
All right, next article is this. I found interesting because I haven't heard of this term before. This is from NASA.gov.
We got
while it lasts. No, we have a lot. I know. I should. I'll get through it. Okay, so apparently I've never heard this term, bone.
You
Bone in space. Well, I'm sure there's bone in space. But NASA's Chandra diagnoses cause of fracture in galactic bone. Okay. Apparently there are structures in space called bones. They're just bones.
Yeah, well, it's just, yeah.
Okay, so these enormous structures resembling bones or snakes, which... are found near the center of the galaxy. They are elongated formations that are seen in radio waves and are threaded by magnetic fields running parallel to them. So here's the image of this bone. All right, so this long thing in the middle of the image, if you're watching the video. This one is called G359.13142-0.20005. And they've discovered and in this one there's a fracture in it. They found a fracture in the bone, and they've discovered what is possibly caused the fracture
in the
bones. It's possible. You gotta watch
skateboarding.
Yeah, not enough calcium, a calcium deficiency. Yeah, there's not a lot of calcium particles in the molecules in this. No. But apparently, this bone, by the way, this length of filament that you see, it's about 230 light years long. It's the longest and brightest of these type of structures that has been seen so far. But what's caused the fracture is it was struck by a fast-moving, rapidly spinning, as they all are really, neutron star or pulsar.
Oh shit.
And so this shows take your Boniva, get your calcium in. So this shows the pulsar that's kind of there, and that's where the fracture has occurred. So it slammed into it, basically. X-ray and radio sources at the location of the fracture that they used data from Chandra and Meerkat and the National Science Foundation's Very Large Array telescope. It hit this bone at speeds between 1 million and 2 million miles per hour. Jeez, so it was coming in hot.
Really hot.
Coming in hot. It's just...
Do you think, like, the Meerkat team, they all just kind of, for their picture, they just all kind of just stand up and like look in different directions like meerkats? You know?
That's what the telescopes do. Like, they just pop out of the ground.
Yeah, just look around. All right, that's our stupid joke.
We're done with that. All right. So I just thought that was interesting because I've never heard of these.
I've never heard of that either.
I've never heard of these bone structures before. But it makes sense looking at it.
Does the Milky Way have good bones?
I would it's better. Better. I mean, we take our calcium vitamins.
We do.
Okay, another one. So these two ones I added today because I thought it was interesting. NASA's Juno exposes sizzling lava lakes beneath Io. I'm gonna cut off the rest half of that because I didn't put the other half of that article in there. But okay, so Io is one of my favorite moons in the solar system. Mm-hmm. This is pretty much why I added it. Okay, I love Io. It's one of the most volcanically active objects in the entire solar system. It's hot as fuck.
It's not one of.
It is the. It has I'm sure volcanoes erupting right now on Io.
80.
You got at one time. You got basically a lot of gravitational friction happening between Jupiter and the other moons that are kind of stretching and squishing Io. There's this, so it's creating a lot of internal energy, heat that is keeping it molten and active and explosive. It's just. It looks like a moldy cheese pizza that you just still kind of want to eat if you're really like hungry the next day.
But it smells like sulfur.
It smells like sulfur, yeah, a lot of sulfur. Don't smell the pizza.
It's Satan's moon.
So a first that has happened. Juno, spacecraft orbiting Jupiter right now and studying it, named after the Roman version of Jupiter's wife. It would be Hera in Greece. Mm-hmm. So, she's just keeping an eye on her husband. So this was the first time that they were able to map the subsurface temperature of Io. And the Juno's microwave radiometer, MWR, it was actually designed to study Jupiter's deep atmosphere. But they directed it at Io, which I'm like, hey, fun, use your shit, yeah. And what they found was evidence of still warm magma that hasn't solidified below Io's cooled crust.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah,
because of what's going on.
Yeah, but it confirms that there's magma hanging out there, and it is at every latitude and longitude. There were these like cooling lava flows. So all over Io, you have this happening. They also determined that the most energetic eruption in Io's history, which was first identified by the infrared imager during Juno's December 27, 2024 Io flyby, was still December 27th, 2024, still spewing lava at Nash as recently as March 2nd.
Wow, that's...
Still going off.
Still going.
Still happening. So they have more observations planned on May 6th in a couple days. And it's going to, when Juno flies by Io at a distance of about 55,000 miles, which is not far. I mean, it's far, but it's not far.
Yeah, it's, what is that? One almost is less than half distance between the Earth and the Moon?
Yeah.
So, pretty close.
Yeah, so it's going to get pretty close, and so they'll see if that volcano is still popping up.
Nice.
Still spewing.
You know the craziest thing about Io, and I can't remember the specific number, but because of tidal forces, it rises and it's like 60, lowers
60 feet.
Every single day. So, like, if you're standing on Io at a safe place, not at a volcano, you would literally...
Good luck finding that.
You would literally go up 60 feet, and the ground with you on it would go up 60 feet and then come back down the 60 feet because of the tidal forces.
You're on like a slow tide.
Yeah. So to put that in perspective, though, that happens here on Earth. We do it every single day, but it's something. It's like less than a millimeter or something. It's something like exceedingly tiny. Our moon. Yeah, because of our moon and us rotating we have our own over 24 hours.
Forces. How do tides work? We know how tides work. Fuck off.
Yeah. And so that Io is the coolest fucking little moon.
I love Io so much. It's really one of my favorites. It's just. Well, I also love volcanoes, so.
Yeah.
Because
we're
cool.
gonna jump in one.
Yes,
one day.
I would love to jump in a volcano to die. That would be so great.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna
great. Do. Aside from being in like a true crime documentary as the victim, like that would be a great way to die.
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah.
A true documentary?
True crime, yeah. It'd be fun if I was, like, murdered and it was, like, a big mystery surrounding it, and then there were documentaries about it, and then my ghost could be like, ha 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 ha, only I will know.
I'd rather us just
I would rather jump into a volcano. Quicker. Yeah, we'd have the ring, have a ring, and then we'd jump in and, like, throw it up a little bit, and we'd try to catch it on our fingers, but then we would just melt and die.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we hit the lava and we instantly die.
It's romantic. You know. It's romantic.
So we won't have this. Oh shit! We have to take a drink. It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, it is. Talking about jumping in volcanoes. I did it. I spilled.
You spilled it?
I did. All right. Last article.
And we're doing it.
This goes out to one of my favorite planetarium shows because I'm a history nerd as well as a science nerd. And
let me guess. Okay. You want me?
Well, you already know what it's going to be because you've read the notes.
Secret Lives of Stars.
No. Not Secret Lives of Stars. Not Two Small Pieces of Glass.
Black holes.
Not black holes.
Wonders of the universe.
The OG ENS black holes with cosmic dragons. That is one of my favorites. But
no, that wasn't ENS. That was
Clark. That was Clark. That's right. That was Clark. Sorry. Stars of the Pharaohs.
Yes.
Stars of the Pharaohs with Gimli narrating. John Rhys Davis was the narrator of
I actually haven't read this bullet point.
I saw this article and I read it last night because I saw it. I kept seeing it and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna add this because I love this. So. This comes from Live Science. I pulled it from livescience.com, but I saw it on other websites. But ancient Egyptians drew the Milky Way on coffins and tombs, linking them to the sky goddess. Study finds. So, Nut is the sky goddess of ancient Egypt.
Newt?
She turned me into a newt.
I got better.
Different type of newt. Anyway, Newt spelled N-U-T like nut.
Okay.
Like nut, but Newt.
Not N-E-W-T.
No. And this is a sky goddess, and she's usually depicted, like, naked, of course, and, like, an arch over the earth as, like, the earth's protector and a symbol of the sky and that sort of thing. And she's been depicted with, like, stars and, like, other, like, planetary bodies within her. But... and they've always like assumed she was associated with the Milky Way, but there's new evidence or studies have shown that she most likely was associated closely with the Milky Way.
Okay.
So Graur. This is a dude's name. O-R, last name G-R-A-U-R, or Graur, an associate professor of astrophysics at the University of Portsmouth in the UK. He examined 125 depictions of the goddess Nut on coffins and tomb walls. Okay. Of course, we're talking ancient Egypt, so these things are up to 5,000 years old, which, oh God, if to touch them.
You just want to touch them.
I just want to touch them so fucking bad.
You know, I am not one where I just have to touch everything, but I would love to touch that stuff.
Oh God. Okay, so what he found was a couple of instances. Like there was one on a chantress. A chantress of ancient Egypt. So this was someone who performed religious prayers.
Okay, but you have to give the name. I'm
not going to say this name.
Oh, but... That looks like something straight out of Iceland.
Look, I am a white woman who speaks English. I can't make my mouth do all these consonants.
It really looks like it would be straight out of Iceland.
Nezataujaketet. So there's a depiction of Nut lying down. Her body is covered in stars, and there's like a thick according to Grauer, he wrote, a thick, undulating black curve that bisects Newt's star-studded body. And he basically posits that this actually depicts the Great Rift in the Milky Way. So
that's cool.
If you're in a dark area, and if you have the chance to go to a dark sky area, which we 100% fully recommend, and you see the Milky Way, you will see that it looks like there is this dark kind of band that goes through it. We are looking through all this gas and dust in our Milky Way. And so that gas and dust in that area is very thick, and we can't see what's behind it. So it looks like this dark band, and it's called the Great Rift. And so he posits that represents the Great Rift of the Milky Way. There's also images that are very similar in tombs in the Valley of the Kings where Newt is depicted. One such is on the ceiling of Ramses the Sixth. He ruled around 1143 to 1136 BCE. There are 2 back-to-back images of Newt that are separated by thick, black, golden, undulating curves that issue from the base of Newt's head and then travel all the way back to her booty, to her rear. And so what they're thinking is that the ancient Egyptians may believe that this association helped her protect the earth. There's a lot of depictions where Geb, which is the Egyptian god who represents the earth, is depicted below Newt in these images. And they're not saying that Newt is the Milky Way, at all. It's that or the Milky Way is Newt.
Yeah, if the Egyptians, if that's really how they represent. Yeah. I think that'd be.
It's more of an astronomical phenomenon, like the stars and the sun, that are a part of the sky, and hence are a part of Newt.
Yeah.
So she encompasses all that is in the sky, basically, and is the protector of the earth.
Oh, nice.
And if you think about it, if you think about back to an ancient Egyptian times, right, there are no city lights. The night sky for the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Greeks, before you get electricity and street lamps and buildings all over the place, the night sky is as clear as...
Oh, yeah, especially in the deserts of Egypt.
Yeah, it's... The Milky Way would be such a prominent feature in the sky that it makes total sense that for cultures who are relying on the sky for various things as part of their way in the life, how to tell seasons, they're tracking time with the sky, that it would be represented in this way for their gods, goddesses, and in their artwork and that sort of thing. Because we've seen the Milky Way in a dark sky. We live in a pretty dark sky area, not the darkest, but we can see the Milky Way.
Yeah, we're lucky.
And it is, and if there is ever a time to use the phrase breathtaking in a literal sense, seeing the Milky Way.
Awesome.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Are we back?
Hold on. I'm waiting for us to come back. We lost internet. I think we're back. Okay. Right in my prophetic,
right in the middle of it.
My prophetic, poetic buzzedness. Okay, anyway, if you're lucky enough to see the Milky Way, if you go out to a dark sky, it is breathtaking. It is absolutely gorgeous, and just the night sky itself is so overwhelming. I remember just feeling tears coming when you first see it, because you really are like, holy fuck.
Yeah, and it's just in that moment you feel okay. I hate to say you feel small, because this is going to sound arrogant. I never feel small.
No.
Because, I can look out and I can understand things, how things are going.
It's amazing that we got a chance to just experience the universe.
But also, I feel connected.
Yeah. we're all connected. Yes, everything is connected.
To something larger.
We're all made from dead stars.
We are all made from dead stars. We're all, what is it, Stardust.
Also, we're all another Stardust. Sagan. Made from Stardust. One of my shirts that I wear is made from Stardust. It's also my sleep shirt. But anyway, so I wish I could I don't know, just what ancient cultures must have thought. How they interpreted everything is just fascinating to me, and the meaning that it brought to them. So, so that's why I wanted to include this, because it melds the history with the astronomy and just shows the importance of the universe and the night sky on really just the entire, at least our species on this planet, and it's just fun. So anyway, that's the recent astronomy news.
Hey.
And of course we talked about what's up in the May night sky and what you can look forward to. As always, we recommend just when you got clear skies, go out at night and check it out and see what's up there for yourself. Try to find some shit. Try to find Cancer. Good luck, but try to find Cancer.
Yeah, you can find it here though.
You can find it. We'll try and find it and see. It's pretty dim, but. Get one of the star map apps on your phone, help you identify some stuff, and just, our astronomy and space is important. Learning about it is important. Studying it has just a massive ROI for the planet and our species, every species on it. It's very important that we look to that final frontier and
and can I say something before
I close it out?
Yeah, in all seriousnness, I know.
Sorry,
right?
Ron's comment. Find Cancer before Cancer finds you.
Call your representatives. Mm-hmm. NASA.
If you're in the U.S.
Yeah, well, even if you're not, NASA. NASA, pretend like you are. Fake your accent. NASA's proposed budget from the current administration is under attack. Science, a lot of science missions are going to go away. Artemis going to go away. And looking at, simple things is like tracking hurricanes going to go away. If there are particular representatives that are spineless and just cannot think beyond their nose. So please call your representatives. Mm-hmm. Let them know that you are not in favor of cutting NASA, cutting PBS, cutting NPR, any funding that improves our knowledge of the universe, improves our understanding of the universe, that you are not in favor of that. It is not like NASA takes up 90% of the budget.
No.
The military takes up almost half of the budget, and we can take a little bit from that. We do not need military parades. The military does not need $1 trillion. So please call your representatives. Let them know that this is unacceptable and that you want full funding. Not only full funding, you want more funding. For these things. NASA, PBS, and NPR. Mm-hmm. This is
Sesame Street, guys.
Yes, this is we are educating not only ourselves, but we are educating future generations.
If Mr. Rogers was still alive, would you fucking cancel him? No! What would Mr. Rogers do?
And remember, it is not A1, it is AI. And thank you for our well-educated fucking... whatever her name is, whatever she does.
We don't care.
Secretary.
We don't give a shit.
Please call your representatives.
Yes.
In all seriousness, call your representatives. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what to do, check out our shot on calling representatives.
5calls.org. Check it out.
Call them, and in 2 weeks, we will be back. This is going to be an episode from me. I am not telling what it is going to be Mike's top 10 astronomical discoveries. Liz and Brandon will not know what those discoveries are until we talk about them. So
it's exciting.
Yes.
Will we agree? Will we disagree? I don't know. You'll have to find out. What are your thoughts?
So exactly. So join us in 2 weeks. Let us know what your top 10 discoveries are. And thank you for listening. Follow us on all the things.
And if you're with us now, or you want to see what happens after the main show, then stick around or check out The Hangover with Cosmos. So we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Rebel scum.
All right, if you're with us live, we'll be back in a bit for The Hangover. Stick around. We need a potty break. Be right back. Day, because it's May the 4th.
Yeah.
We have a Star Wars dog, everybody.
She's got some Jedi in her.
She does have some Jedi in her. She's got some midi-chlorians.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Although they don't really... I mean, they don't really give Leia any Force powers until, like, what? Until Force Awakens, and then she's fucking flying through space or whatever, which is my least favorite thing.
Scene.
But
it's one of my least favorite scenes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole, like, because we don't read, like, all the novels and the... No. Whatever, so I'm sure there's all this other, like, backstory and whatever for Leia that, is after, but, whatever. Anyway, welcome to the... You hate that.
I do hate it.
You hate it. Welcome to the Hangover with Cosmos. Now I have Kentucky Peach Tea.
Hey, today was the Kentucky Derby. So
really?
But I think they have, like, some different drink.
Kentucky Peach Bourbon Tea, then. Cheers to... Oh, no, because I read that sovereignty beat journalism. And I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh, is this the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah,
I don't know.
These are the horses' names. Sovereignty beat out journalism. What does that say? What does that say, everybody?
But today was the Derby, right?
Yeah, or yesterday? No, maybe it was yesterday.
All I know...
I feel like this is a Saturday event.
All I know is...
Who watches the Derby? Anybody? Is it on TV? Is it televised?
I was talking to Susanna, and at the same time, I was capturing stuff for a project I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, let's just see what's on... the news, one of the news sites I look at. And it was, I guess this was the whole Kentucky Derby. It's only like a minute and a half. It's like, wow, that's short.
It's not just a minute and a half.
Well, they just go around once, it looks like.
I'm sure there's more to it.
The whole thing was they came out of the little gates.
Yeah.
Whatever the little prisons they're in. And they go running. And then, like, in a minute and a half later... all the jockeys just kind of pulled up and they just kind of one of them started doing this like he won and I don't know is it like NASCAR they go around 500 times? I don't know. They were covered in mud because it had been raining and it was just muddy and I was just like so worried I had to watch it them go around at once. I was worried for the horses. I thought the horses might slip and get hurt, and that's never good. Nobody slipped. What to do. They're good. And then they come out and they're all muddy. But then I was like, during the final turn, the audio's not up, so I don't know what they're saying. But then I look in there and there's just like that one horse that's just kind of trotting behind everybody, and it made me think of that. What was that song? From the 90s. Oh shit, what is it? It's about the race. Is
it the Green Day song?
No, it's not Green Day. Going the Distance.
Cake.
Yeah.
He's going the distance.
Made me think of that.
He's going for speed. She's all alone in her time of need.
Meanwhile, everybody's gone home.
I've already gotten copyright struck.
And I'm just thinking, everybody's gone home, and this horse finally crosses the finish line.
Like, I wasn't going to win anyway. Its name was Democracy.
Probably.
All I know is about the Kentucky Derby, other than horses, and the horses maybe shouldn't be fucking raced like that, is it's about the hats and the fashion. It's rich people. They get to dress up and watch horses. They have the
drinks, but I don't remember what the drinks are. There's like a certain drink. Is it a mint julep?
I don't know.
That sounds about like what it would be. I think that there was...
Because this is our audience, Kentucky Derby people.
Right. I think that there was... I think it was for Katie's birthday. And just for reference, what I do is I make a drink menu
for our holiday and birthday celebrations.
For get-togethers, stuff like that. And one of the get-togethers is for Katie's birthday, which is in May. And I think I included like a mint julep. Yeah. And I think in the description I referenced the Kentucky Derby about it.
Oh, okay. Is it that strawberry? That strawberry mint julep is really good.
Oh, strawberry mint julep.
Yeah, we gotta get some mint because that one's a nice one. Since my mint plant, I let my mint plant die.
It's gonna come back. Something's gonna come back. But we have been working in the yard. Anyway, what are we doing?
Well, we were supposed to last time introduce book club. And so today we were going to introduce book club.
But Brandon's not.
And Brandon's not here. And what we were going to do is we were each going to pick a book, and then between the three of us, we were going to pick what book we wanted to do for book club. Jack says all he knows about the Kentucky Derby is all the horses in this year's Derby they're all descended from Secretariat. Look, there's two horses I know that are famous. Seabiscuit and Secretariat.
Oh, if I had a horse, I'd start with letter S because they seem to win. Seabiscuit and Secretariat.
That's only if you're racing them. I've had plenty of horses. We don't race them. In fact, actually, two of my favorite horses that I had horses growing up. My mom had horses growing up, and I was an asshole and didn't appreciate them as much as I should have, and I wish I did now. I'm sorry, Mom. But two of my favorites. My first one was Silky.
Okay.
A beautiful black horse. Yes. I loved Silky, and then also Sugar. And Sugar was a paint. So it was a brown and white. Paint horses are like the splotchy ones, so it was a brown and white horse. And Sugar was so sweet. She was such a sweetheart.
Painted horses. Is that why they're splotchy, generally?
What?
You said...
They're called paints.
Right, and they're splotchy. Right?
Well, yeah, they have their different
colors. The art things, like if you go see like a painted horse,
they're not paint. No, it's not.
Okay.
No,
I was like, maybe art's making a connection. Then.
No, that's just the kind of horse that they are.
All right. Anyway, what are we doing?
Okay. Well, I was explaining that we were supposed to start book club. Did you follow up with Brandon to see if he has his book recommendation?
Has not. I asked him.
Too busy
he never responded.
Drinking and enjoying
Star Wars. He's watching. He sent some video. So anyway, he sent a video of part of the Star Wars movie right there. So anyway, okay, listen. What are we doing?
Like a weird work email. Anyway, okay. Well, I don't know if we want to put up our books for now and then see what.
Well, also, I wasn't sure if this was a science book.
No, it's science fiction.
Okay,
something in the realm of space, but it doesn't have to be a fiction or a fiction. It can be a nonfiction.
Because I did too, not knowing, not.
It can be whatever like space sciencey book you want, whether it's fantasy. Fiction, nonfiction.
All right, well, we never heard back from Brandon. So my two books, one is science and one is not. One is kind of older science. And I do have to say that Brandon recommended this book, the science one, and it was it's Coming of Age in the Milky Way by Timothy Ferris.
Okay. Well, you know what? On our Kindle, because we have it on our Kindle, because you downloaded it for the Kindle, and I recently opened it to start reading it.
Okay, yeah. So that was my science.
But Brandon's already read it.
No, but that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine because the whole goal is to have a conversation about it.
Right.
And so, but the thing is, though, is it's written in 1988.
Yeah.
This is all before Dark Energy.
Right, but it's supposed to be updated though a little bit.
Okay.
Because in the preface it says that he did update stuff and everything.
So that's my science one. My non-science one, because there's a movie associated with it too. They'll read the book. Please read the book. Is The Martian.
Yes, you talked about The Martian.
And so that's Andy Weir. So But I guess we have to decide. So what is yours that you would not show me that you hid?
My book, because I haven't read it, but I bought it to read. Or no, I didn't. I think I asked for it for like a Christmas present or something, and then I started it, and then I never, because I'm not.
So we gotta get this on the Kindle.
I'm not good at reading. Well, no, I can read the physical copy because I have it, but it's called Chasing the Sun.
Chasing the Sun.
The epic story of the star that gives us life by Richard Cohen, who's also the author of By the Sword. So it's kind of like, a historical, and maybe contemporary look at the sun and how it's been viewed through history and.
So like coming of age in the Milky Way.
I guess so.
In a way, but...
So he basically takes us around the world to illuminate our relationship with a star that gives us life. Whether floating in a skiff on the Ganges as the sun descends behind the funeral pyres of Varanasi, interviewing psychologists in the Norwegian Arctic about the effects of darkness, or watching tomato seedlings in southern Spain being hairbrushed to better catch the sun rays, Cohen tirelessly pursues his quarry. So it's basically 7 years of research, 18 different countries. Basically that it's like kind of the importance of the sun, mythology, language, religion, sciences, art, everything that the sun is kind of a part of in human history and our lives. So that is that was the one that's my recommendation was going to be, because then I was like, oh, now maybe I will actually finally read it.
All right, well, let's do Chasing the Sun. Because our 2 books, all right, so we had 3. 2 were science books, basically, so why don't we do Chasing the Sun? And that'll give you the excuse to read it, and I will read it.
Okay.
And
now Brandon's stuck, and this is what he gets for having a Star Wars marathon in the Dome and not being in the podcast.
Pretty much exactly.
So how do we want to set up this book club as far as like we were going to do it like quarterly. So how long do we want to give ourselves to read this?
3 months.
Okay, let's
that is quarterly, right?
Yeah. So let's look at the
calendar.
Let's look at our calendar and see, because I figured that maybe we could do the book club.
Hey, Sunday sushi with the Bears. So.
Oh, good! Enjoy the Sunday sushi.
Have fun. All right, Jack. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
I figure we could do it as like maybe a hangover to the High in the Sky kind of a thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so not next
it's not
High
a main
in the
episode.
Sky, but maybe the following High in the Sky.
Months. It's quarterly.
Yeah,
gotta give people time to read it.
Yeah, so
August
High in the Sky. Okay, August High in the Sky. We will present during the hangover of High in the Sky for August. We will present our reviews, our opinions, our thoughts, our comments, our feelings.
We'll discuss it.
We will discuss, because that's what book clubs do. We will discuss Chasing the Sun.
Having never been to a book club.
Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen. So if you want to read this book, in the meantime, to also join in or be a part of it, then here you go.
Yes, and if you don't want to read it, you can hear us review it.
And you can hear us review it, yes. Or download the... do they still do Cliff Notes? Is that a thing?
No,
Cliff
don't
Notes?
do... No,
everybody remember Cliff Notes?
I don't want anybody to do Cliff Notes. Read the book.
Look, if you want to do Cliff Notes, you can do Cliff Notes. We can't force anybody to read.
No, I mean, obviously we don't know. So, who did it? Chasing the Sun by who?
Richard Cohen. Cohen.
I'm letting Brandon know.
Okay. I feel like it might be something Brandon would enjoy. Brandon enjoys all this. Brandon just enjoys reading, so, I'm very, I go through spurts with reading. I don't know. And maybe it's because I'm a more visual person, that reading is not as, like, it has to be something.
But you make all the visuals in your head.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, I mean, it has to really, like, I don't know. I have to be, like, really engaged by it, or it's really descriptive or something. There's very few books that I've, like, really stuck in there and, like, oh, okay, so my favorite book
which
of all time that I've read a bunch of times, and it's a young teen book that I first read it in high school. It's called Ella Enchanted, and I refuse to watch the movie about it. And now this is the one book where I understand when people who read the book before the movie are like, fuck the movie. I get it only because of this one book, because I refuse to watch the movie because the colors in the movie, based on the trailer that I saw, I was like, no, this does not match. Mm-hmm. This doesn't, to use what the kids now say, it doesn't have the right vibe. Like, from reading it, there's a certain vibe, there's a certain color palette, there's a certain, everything from, my interpretation of reading it and how I felt about it, that I was like, I can't watch the movie because it doesn't match up with how I read it, how it is in the book. Yeah. So I refuse to watch the movie on it. But Ella Enchanted, I've read it multiple times, and I really don't know why I love it, but I do.
Well, I mean, I think you probably know my favorite book. It's like my favorite movie, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I don't.
And I get the whole.
I get really tired when I'm reading. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like I've tried to start Game of Thrones because I love Game of Thrones. I've tried to start reading Game of Thrones, and I can't get past the first couple chapters before I'm done with reading it.
Oh, God. Oh.
I thought
just
give
when
it
you said
up.
you get really tired, I thought just at the end of the day.
I don't know. I have to. Well, I mean, I read it at night when I'm going to bed, so I'm also tired, and it makes me tired. There was a really good book. That I did read on the Kindle, called, it was like an interpretation of Cersei from, not Cersei, if that's Game of Thrones,
I know what you're talking about.
From the Odyssey.
I should have brought my Kindle in here. It's on the Kindle.
The witch in the Odyssey.
Right.
I want to say it's Cersei, but it's clearly not Cersei because I'm thinking Game of Thrones. But it's kind of like her story, basically her background, and it has the stuff in the Odyssey that kind of comes into play. But that was really fascinating and really interesting to me, and the visuals in that, and so I really enjoyed reading that, and I was into it. I can't remember the name of what it was, but that book I really enjoyed. There was another book, it's by an author called D.M. Gray, and there's a series of them, and they were really kind of funny. This one was and it was it's like this person starts working at like this like convenience store, and they're like monsters that appear, and it's like Hellburger or something. I don't know. There's a whole series of them, and it was just like fun and quirky, and I enjoyed that.
I'm trying to keep talking. Okay. I'm trying to look.
Are you looking at what our books were? Yeah. I did download the kind of history of this penguin thing wherever ghosts are mentioned in historical texts.
It is Cersei.
Oh, it is Cersei. It is Cersei. Okay, yeah.
C-I-R-C.
Okay, I think because I said Game of Thrones, then I was conflicting it. But Cersei
by Madeline Miller.
Yeah, she is. So it's kind of like her whole this backstory of Cersei and how she ended up on that island, and then even after Odysseus comes, and it kind of makes her just this real woman who's experienced all this like hardship and like trauma. And being raped by a god, and then being outcasted because of that. And there was another one I started reading too, or I don't know if I got the sample of it, or if I think I just got the sample. No, maybe I got the whole thing and I read it. I can't remember. It was about Medusa, basically, and Medusa's backstory.
Athena's Child?
Athena's Child, yeah. And that was interesting. I don't know, I like mythological.
I'm not surprised at all by that,
being a Xena and a Hercules fan.
Yeah, I mean, like mythology, fantasy. So I guess that's your favorite genre, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. If I look at the books that I have read, it tends to be that. Or there's like a historical nonfiction. One of the best books, and I heartily recommend this for everybody, is Endurance by Alfred Lansing on Shackleton's voyage to Antarctica. Endurance is a fantastic read. Like, I just remember reading it and just being enthralled into it, on the real experience of these individuals that went to Antarctica, and it did not go bad, but then they pretty much all survived somehow, and it's really good. And I had to read that for a college class on exploration, and I really enjoyed it. That and Bill Bryson's A History of Nearly Everything. That's a really fun read. Apparently the Sangover is turning into our book recommendations.
What's that? Oh, it's turning, yes.
But yeah, Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything is really fun, and Endurance, Shackleton's Voyage by Alfred Lansing is phenomenal.
But what are you reading right now? Is it Dante?
I don't know. I started Dante's Inferno just to be like, you know, like I was like, we watched Jeopardy, and I'm like, I should probably read some of the shit that's classic that pops up in here. And so I read, like, it had like an explanation of what each chapter entails in layman's terms, so I pretty much have read it.
You read the Cliff Notes
before getting into the actual poem of it, and so it's pretty.
I've never read it. Is the poem hard?
I don't know if I've really started the poem yet, if I just got through the chapter Cliff Notes, basically. But I was like, okay. So I haven't really gotten into it. It might be one of those that... I did start reading, and I'm kind of... Penguin's Book of the Dead, and it just is like a collection of wherever, like, ghosts and shit are mentioned in historical texts. A lot of it's, like, religious texts, but it gives, like, these stories that, like... whatever put into the, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of, I mean, it's dry a little bit, but I don't know. It's sometimes it depends on my mood. You know, it can be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, another good one is, it's called, it's the Iliad, but it's called, like, the real story of the Iliad, or the true story of the Iliad, but it's a female author, and she basically breaks down the Iliad in a more, like, a historical sense, with the Trojan War, and kind of, and I don't know, it's really, oh, okay, I gotta go find it. I'll be right back. You entertain the masses.
All right. Well, you threw the microphone, so here it is. I'm entertaining you. The book I'm reading currently is Green Mars, Kim Stanley Robinson. It's a trilogy. And, I thought she was coming back. And Red Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars. So I am almost at the end of Green Mars. But then I think I will move on to a different book. It looks like it's going to be Chasing the Sun. But I do want to bring up Lord of the Rings here eventually. So, all right.
I ran. It's called The War That Killed Achilles, The True Story of Homer's Iliad and the Trojan War by Carolyn Alexander.
You didn't have to run.
I know, but... she also wrote something on the Bounty and the Endurance.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll have to look at that. So, it basically kind of breaks down this poem in a more of like, kind of like what it means, and kind of like just the, I don't know. It's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I've read it like twice.
All right. Well, so the war.
It kind of puts it in like a historical context, and what kind of things like really kind of mean in the poetic sense versus a historical sense of what's going on.
A lot of footnotes. That
yeah.
means it's real.
Yeah, it's historical nonfiction, basically.
I might have to look into the Bounty and the Endurance.
Yeah, she's a really good writer, so I enjoyed how... And look, it has a review by Ken Burns. Spectacular and constantly surprising. A triumph. But, yeah. So.
All right, cool.
I really enjoy this one. This was really...
So historical fiction, historical
nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's sci-fi for me. Is it like, a bunch of like nerds are like, hey, I like science fiction. Hey, I like fantasy. And they're like, the book people are like, we just need to combine it for nerds. We'll just call it sci-fi fantasy. Science fiction and fantasy.
But then you also have science fiction.
Right, but if you go to a bookstore, it's all like sci-fi and fantasy together.
Because it's it's fun, not real shit. It's the fun, not real shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then historical fiction. That's fun, not real shit.
That's fun. Not real shit based on real shit.
Or was it like what is it? It's the alternative history, or something like like what is it the man in the clock tower or whatever.
Oh,
the
high tower. Where the Nazis won instead
the Nazis
of
and the Japanese
win. It's about to be the Nazis are about to win. So
or like historical nonfiction like Handmaid's Tale.
That's nonfiction is what's happening.
That's what I said.
It's about to
historical.
It's about to be a historical nonfiction is what's happening.
Oh my god!
The Commission of fucking Religious Liberty is.
Oh, and did you see the Supreme Court's leaning towards letting religious schools get... Yeah.
My taxpayer dollars going to fucking religious charter schools? Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck all of that. I do not condone my tax dollars going to religious fucking propaganda. Oh my god. It's
more work?
Work fucking email.
All right. You're on a rant. Continue.
I have no more continuing of rants.
All right, so so read your book. You have your book. You have your homework. Chasing the Sun by that guy, Richard Cohen.
Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen, the epic story of the star that gives us life.
And if you don't want to read it, just join us for the August High in the Sky where we talk about it.
If you want some reviews... here you go. Sylvia Nassar, the author of A Beautiful Mind, says, Chasing the Sun is both a grand history of civilization and an irresistible account of an around-the-world odyssey in search of an elusive moving target. Richard Cohen collects fascinating stories with the exuberance and erudition of a Victorian explorer filling a curio cabinet with rare specimens. This is an amazing tour de force.
Yes, and all the other reviews sound the same. Pretty much. Yeah. All right. So, Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen, who looks exactly like Richard Cohen in the back flap of the book. If you don't want to read it, you can join us in for the August High in the Sky where we talk all about it and all of that. And then we'll come up with another book for the Cosmos Book Club.
Yes, and I've already, since my book then took one, then it's you and Brandon will suggest a book, and it'll be out of your two books.
I did suggest a book.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying for the next one, it'll be between you and Brandon.
Yes.
Unless you want to change what you're putting up, you know. You can always change it if you want.
No, I have a couple months to do that.
You have a couple months.
And join us in a couple of weeks.
Oh, are we done with the Hangover now?
Yeah, we're gonna
all
go.
Right.
All right, so join us in a couple of weeks where in the main episode where we're gonna talk about my top 10
Mike's top 10 astronomy discoveries.
It may be that exciting or not.
I don't know. I feel I feel like there's a lot of particle physics that might be towards the top.
But wait a minute.
Maybe?
So, astronomical. I have been thinking about this for a couple weeks.
But that's still astronomical, isn't it? Quantum?
Well, I mean, yeah, technically.
You can't have the universe without some quarks, can you?
You can't, no. You
Leptons?
You can't.
Little charms and stranges?
Yeah, so you can't, but I was like, do I want to go that way, or do I want to, make it like, Discovery of Uranus, that kind of thing.
Oh, so I'll see, I mean, I'm sure Brandon's top 10 would be the Herschels at the top of the 10.
And some of these things are related to each other. So do I combine things? Do I do this? That kind of thing. So,
like the fucking, the radio of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
That could be at the top. Where does that fall in? Hubble? Ooh, this is exciting.
Yeah, so I started kind of putting together a list, and it's going to be more than 10, so I'm going to have to whittle it down. And so there's going to be some combining of
Are you going to have flashcards and put it out like David Letterman's top 10?
Oh, that's a good idea.
A Letterman top 10.
Though I did think about sending you, like, okay, so some of these are probably going to have pictures associated with them, so...
Oh, if you need pictures put into the show, then you got to send them to me in advance, because Brandon learned that hard lesson the last time.
Right, and so you're probably going to have some inside knowledge on some stuff, if I send pictures.
Oh.
But...
Well, no, you just send me pictures, and I don't need to know where they go, but I
No,
just
you need to know where to go. Oh.
Well, no, because I just put them on buttons, so...
Oh, okay.
I could just label them, and then just push the button according to the topic, so I don't need to necessarily know the order of them. They don't have to be in the order of the buttons that are on there.
Okay.
So
that's my plan for. And how did this come up?
I don't know. We need a topic, and you said top 10 astronomy things. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that might have been.
How do we come up with anything? It's just we go, this sounds good.
It's like after a couple of drinks, it's like, hey, let's do this.
Cosmos with Cosmos, and this is the Cosmos part.
Yeah, but that's not a Cosmo right there. Which we've only made for 2 episodes, I think.
It's a Kentucky bourbon.
Peach tea.
Peach tea. Kentucky peach tea bourbon.
Kentucky bourbon peach tea.
Whatever. You know what would be great with this? A sprig of rosemary.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, join us in 2 weeks. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, I got to close it out. We're closing it out. I'm ending stream. I got to get my mouse over to the other monitor somehow to end the stream. There it is. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Cheers. Call your reps.
All right, we are out.
We are out.